everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanissia. This is the Woolly Worker Knitting Podcast, and today I am joining you for a special episode of the Woolly Worker Knitting Podcast, all about my current works in progress, my hibernating whips. I think I've got about maybe like 3 or 4 that I'm currently working on and have been like actively out and about in the craft room on the needles, and then a lot of them have just been in the cupboard, some of them for over a year, some of them since the beginning of the year. Overall, I will be talking about 16 projects altogether, and the main goal of this video is to catch you all up with, I guess, some of them have had some progress done since the last time that they were on the channel. Most of them haven't and are exactly where I left them last time I showed them on the podcast. So it will be about updating you on the ones I have been working on, making decisions on the ones that have really been neglected, basically finish or frog February, except it's May. And yeah, I thought hopefully get me some motivation and inspiration by showing them off on camera. I don't know what it's like with knitting projects. It certainly is for like whips and FOs. When I show them off on camera, like sometimes they look so much better than they do in real life, and it's just getting that like third eye perspective on them. So I'm really excited to do this. I'm not gonna do them in any particular order. I just got them all on the floor right now. It's going to be chaotic and overwhelming, and it'll be a mess to tidy. Some of them I had to dig from like really deep, but I'm really excited to go through them. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you knit while you watch. It might be a long one. If you're new here, then my name is Vanissia. I'm from Belgium and I live in Scotland just outside of Edinburgh with my partner Ross. We just got a house recently and I've been busy decorating it. Thank you for the lovely comment in the last video where you finally saw my craft room. Here it is. And yeah, I've been trying to make videos a bit more often because I took a bit of a break over the last year, but I've been getting back into the swing of things. And I've been really knitting a lot recently, hence the progress on some of the projects I will show you. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Except there's one more further ado, and that is what I am wearing. This is the Anker summer shirt by PetiteKnit, or the Anker tee. I can't remember which one it is, but this is basically made in DK yarn. This was made in thin linen held double. Just because I had that in stash, but you could just make it with linen, which is the thicker version of that. I think it's a cotton, linen, and something else blend. It's really nice, it's not scratchy, it's breathable. The gauge is quite open without being see-through. I think I did the modification, which is that I did all those little rows of ribbing twisted instead of normal rib. I don't tend to have a neat rib when I knit, is because of my looser gauge, even if I go down quite a lot of needle sizes. So I just thought, why risk it? Let's just go with twisted rib. And that's pretty much the only modification that I did. The bind off here was just in like knitted bind off, which is great for the color. Like this is all nice and neat. It might be a little tight on the sleeves, and I don't like how this ribbing still kind of puffers more than the stockinette, but it's still comfortable. It's a really comfortable t-shirt to wear. It's still really hot here in Scotland. It's about to turn. Maybe when this video comes out, actually it will have already turned. So I'm just trying to enjoy the late last opportunities for me to be wearing my summer knits. But yeah, if you want to see or hear more about this finished item, the summer, like the Anker summer shirt, feel free to watch quite a recent-ish podcast episode, definitely number 30 and above, where I talk about this in more detail. It was last summer that I finished it, so yeah, let's just go into the video now. Okay, one more thing. If you need to see any more details about any of those projects, then it will all be on my Ravelry profile project page. All of these will be documented with the yarns, sizes, modifications, etc. I know this is quite important detail and I might forget to talk about all of that just because there's like so much to go through. So for this kind of like technical detail, feel free to go spy on my Ravelry. And yeah, that's about it. So let's go with what I've been working on recently, and then we'll go into the depth of the hibernating ones. So something that I've picked up quite recently is a mosaic knitting pattern. It's the Pressed Flowers Shawls by Amy Christopher, I think. and I've been making this with a Zekami skein of hand-dyed yarn. Here it is. This was a thing called Pleiades, and it's a really lovely variegated yarn that has little colors of blue, peach, yellow in non-superwash merino. And I've paired it with a beautiful pink yarn from Knitting for Olive in merino that I'm holding double. This is DK. And when I last showed you this, I had 4 flowers in the shawl. The goal is to get to 11, and then there's a border. I now have 10 flowers. So I don't know what hit me, but I've just been working non-stop on this the last few days. And here's the progress. Oh yes, it is stunning. I'm actually mid-row. Here you can see on the needles, so I can't really show you the tips of the shawl, like they're kind of like folded here behind. This is the back of it, and this is the center spine. But yeah, as you can see, it really grew. It's a really stretchy fabric. There's quite a lot of like, there's a bit of garter and slip stitches, and I know that this is going to stretch quite significantly when I eventually block it, and I'm excited to see this become even bigger. It really just grew before my eyes. Like, at first it was so tiny, and then before I knew it, I had to like use my cable extenders. But yeah, I think I'm really happy with my yarn choice for pairing this variegated, springy, flowery yarn with this beautiful pink. Even though the pink didn't actually appear in the yarn, I think it's a really great coordinating color. The pattern is definitely visible. You're not distracted by the slight variegation in the yarn, and it's just screams spring and summer colors. I think this is like a really me color palette. Definitely moving away from all the beiges and greys, and trying to really accept the bright colors. So yeah, this has been a joy to work on. I've actually just run out of my 2 balls of Knitting for Olive merino for the main color, the pink. It's called Berry, I think the color, but it's definitely on Ravelry. I think one of the reasons that I lost steam back then last year was because according to my yarn calculations, I was probably going to end up needing 1 more ball of the main color, and I didn't want to just order that 1 ball on its own. Maybe I wanted to have to wait until I had a bigger yarn order to do so I could save on shipping. You know how it goes, girl math. And so I ended up feeling a bit demotivated, or knowing that at some point I was gonna have to stop working on this through like reasons outside of my control. And in the end, now that I've basically finished almost the main motif and I have 1 ball left, I'm planning to hold it double, so like go from the start and the beginning of the ball. I think it'll be fine actually. I'll just run out of yarn probably as I finish. I know rows are getting exponentially larger, so yeah, I think, long story short, it'll be fine for yarn quantities. So I'm really chuffed about that. I had originally saved this pink color for like a summer camisole, like that's why I had 3 balls. But I'm really glad that I decided to steal that from its original plan to go for this beautiful color combination with that variegated yarn. So even though the colors weren't bought to go together, I found them in the stash, and I'm really glad I went for it. There'll always be more opportunities to make summer camisoles in different shades of this pink, but I think it's a really gorgeous pink. And I'm excited to see the final shawl and probably wear it in winter and autumn and just bring a bit of color. Something that was also preventing me from picking this back up after a while was that I thought it might be hard to get back into it because of the long repeats and not knowing if I'd have memorized it and having made modifications, etc. But in the end, again, my Ravelry notes were quite full of information in terms of like what I had done. I had done a different type of increases through the advice of other Ravelers who said that the make one left, make one right were too tight, so they used the backward loops cast on. And in terms of my edge, I do knit on the right side and slip with the yarn in front for the wrong side, and that gives me like a nice I-cord type thing on both ends. And in terms of the mosaic pattern repeat, it's actually very intuitive, and I can completely do it without looking at the charts, and that's why it's been such a joy to work on this project. So if you like this, then stick around to see the final result, and feel free to cast on a project like that for yourself. There's a million different variations of it. There's the socks, a kerchief that's free actually, and sweater, cardigan, you name it. So I highly recommend it. If you've not done mosaic knitting before, it's a little overwhelming when you first open that pattern. I think the way that it's written is a lot, but if you stick through it, you just read all the lines thoroughly, read all the rules about mosaic knitting in the pattern in terms of like slip those stitches, the color is this in this chart and whatnot. The information is all there. It's just, if you're not familiar with it, it can be a lot, but it's worth it because it is a really striking result. So before I make an entire video about this project, let's just move on to the next one, which has also been my obsession. So this is, well, it's a mixed bag. So my obsession has been towards finishing it, but I've not been enjoying the experience and the pattern that much. So this is the Millie Dis top by Ines Riviera, I think, but I'll put all that on the screen. If I keep going back and forth on my screen for the Ravelry details, it's gonna be a nightmare. So you'll just have to take my approximations. Last time, I don't know if I even showed you this at all, I probably did. It's a bottom-up top, and I must have had like maybe this done where my finger is. I now have almost the entire top. The last thing that I need to do is to do the I-cord edging for the front and each of the armholes. So not too much, not that little. But yeah, so this is a reversible top, so the back of it is a square neck, and then the front of it is a V-neck. And I don't know why, but the armholes here are quite floppy and going away, but it's got this like sort of deep armholes that I think are slightly lower than the neck. Yeah, the neck doesn't stop where the armholes stop, basically. The bottom of it is made with something that's called the linen stitch. And if you see here closer, this is what I'm talking about. It's like 1 centimeter of it. It was flopping really hard when this was unblocked, like it really just wants to flip up. This is definitely my fault, and because of my lack of checking for gauge, the pattern is insanely thorough, which is the problem I'm gonna get into actually later. But it definitely talks about gauge swatching with the stockinette pattern, like in the round, and then you can use that swatch to make sure that it matches the gauge of the linen stitch, and then the I-cord later. So the pattern tells you exactly what to do in terms of gauge. I just chose to start. And so you start bottom up, you do the linen stitch. There's 4 darts actually, which you might be able to see. They stop pretty much where the bust starts. And so you've got 1 dart here, 1 dart here. You've got the same on the other side. It's really subtle and it's really effective. I like it a lot. You can also see here the variation of my yarn. This is a hand-dyed alpaca linen blend yarn from the Fiber Fox in the color Ivy, and this is why in my mind I kind of refer to this as my Ivy top. Again, it's a color that I was so excited to try on. I've been really leaning into the like summer color palette, and this is definitely a green that is suited to my complexion and also to my preferences for greens and colors. I like it a lot. And yeah, you can see the slight variegation of having knitted this in the round, like you can kind of see like micro striping, but it's really subtle, and the fact that this is a 1 skein top, there's not going to be yarn lot differences, and you know when you make a sweater and the body circumference is different than the sleeve circumference, and so if you did have micro striping, the stripes would look different in the body and in the sleeves, and ditto if you were going to do a drop shoulder that had a flat knitting and then in the round knitting, sometimes the stripes can be less aesthetically pleasing, but this is really, really gorgeous. So after you do the bottom, you then do the top cups, so the V-neck cups, and then you put this on hold, put this on hold, you do the back, and again you work your way up, put this on hold, and then you finally join the tops with Kitchener stitch, and then you have to do the I-cords. I decided to give this a really good block because I knew the gauge would change a lot, it would definitely stretch out, and I wanted to make my job easier when I would pick up for the I-cords. And yeah, I guess there's just going to be a lot of ends to weave in, which is not a fun thing to do, but it's just part of the beast with having so many different parts where you've joined new yarn and cut it. But yeah, let's talk about my problems with the pattern, just a little bit, I guess I'll save some for the podcast, but the pattern is somewhere around 27 or 30 pages for something like this, you know, for a camisole top. And I think it's just a little overkill. And to preface all of what I'm about to say, this is completely down to personal preference, but as someone who's, I would say, quite an experienced knitter, there's absolutely no need for me to have that much text to read and wade through just to see what important information there is. It was really hard, actually, and some of the things were over explained. I mean, the author would specify that knitting in stockinette is knit on the right side and purl on the wrong side, but she would repeat that every time she brought up knitting in stockinette, which I think is really just overly complicating things, and it has this counterintuitive effect of it just makes things more confusing. Sometimes she would say, you know, you have to decrease on one end every 2 rows and then decrease on the other end every 4 rows. But then she wouldn't actually say how many times you had to do that. Like, for example, PetiteKnit would say something like, here's row 1 to 4, and she would say what that is. Now repeat these for a total of 14 times. And then she would say 7 stitches decreased or something like that. That really is my preferred way of getting information from my patterns, because here the designer would say something like, here's a row like this, here's a row like that. Now repeat this until you have, in total from the start, 36 rounds. And it's like, I'm not counting my rounds per se, I'd rather count my decreases, because that is much easier to visually read in the pattern. I know some people count rounds with their row counters and everything, and it's really just depending on what kind of person you are, but I think if you're the type of complete beginner that you need everything laid out for you like that, it's still too overwhelming for anyone to have to read 31 pages of pattern for something like this that also explains how to make a million modifications in terms of adjusting the bust size, the depth of the v-neck, the depth of the armholes, the width of the neck. As a beginner, you probably wouldn't do that. As a beginner, you probably just want to do your first pattern as written, or maybe I'm just making a big sweeping assumption, but I felt bad having those negative feelings towards the pattern because it probably will be a nice piece, but it just definitely isn't my style at all, and it made me yearn for those simpler patterns that are just like 7 pages long. So yeah, it was a bit of a slog and a bit of a pain to wade through all those pages just to get the information that I needed. If anything, I should have just taken my losses from the start and rewritten the pattern for myself and just made it like 3 pages. But let me know what you think if you've made this pattern, or if you know what I'm talking about when I say like an overly wordy pattern and one that goes so far into giving you customization options and spreadsheets and everything that if anything it just makes you not want to knit the pattern because all you wanted to do was cast on and go. So yeah, learned a lot about this for what I prefer, but really happy that something that was a little band of fabric has now become a camisole that just needs some I-cords to be finished. Obviously just in time for like bad weather to come for the next couple of weeks, but just in time for like June, July and August. So yeah, that's it for the Melidis top. Let's go to something that's a bit more positive after all this downer talk. So if you've seen my latest podcast episode, you know what's about to come. This is the Yale cardigan by Mary Wallen. I had picked it up after a very long break and I showed it on the podcast. It actually still is in the same state that it was when it was on the podcast. So here's the 2 sleeves that I've got for it. Love to see them on camera, which is why I'm doing that. But yeah, the body's in the same state, and that's because pretty much after I filmed the podcast, I then picked up the pressed flowers shawls and the, what's it called? Melidis top. So that's why, in terms of knitting hours, like this has gotten no attention. It was really warm, and this is a really woolly wool, and I just felt like it was making my fingers sweat or something. Like it just, I don't have my project on my lap, so it's not that hot. But yeah, it's just a really big, massive project that I don't want to have around when it's so hot. I wanted something that just had less yarn. So I'll just do a quick little show and tell, and then we'll put that bad boy away in the basket until I'm motivated to pick this back up. Yeah, there we go. So that's the yellow cardigan. If you didn't see the last podcast, I'll just quickly give you the cliff notes. So it's bottom up as well. The thing I need to do now is go back to the bottom, pick it up with the dark grey yarn and do a folded edge, just like I did here for the sleeves with the grey at the bottom. And then I've made the front steek here for the V. There's a V-neck as well, modification that I did. The two armholes with the respective steek stitches here as well. And what we need to do now is to make some short row shaping for the shoulder, just slightly. And yeah, and then do all the steeking, and then picking up for the button band and knit that, which should be fun. Except that that's maybe then knitted flat, which I don't relish the chance to do that. I might join it in a round so that the button band can be knit in the round, and then steek the joint for that, and then figure out what I do with that end. I think it might be worth experimenting with that and just make life easier. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if I had a bit of bulk at the bottom. I was planning to maybe sew on a ribbon on the inside, on the wrong side of the button band. I heard people say that this stabilizes it and would also be really nice and pretty. So yeah, it's a long way in the future, that step of the process, but yeah, let me know, I guess, if you've had to do that before with other things, knitting a button band in the round and then like color work and then sticking the bottom and then sewing a ribbon to hide all of that. But yeah, that's the yellow cardigan that's just staying here for now. Okay, next project has also not gotten any love since you've last seen it, but it's a big cable jumper called the Canvas by Orlan Such. I started this back in January. I wanted something very time consuming and difficult to keep my mind off of life stresses, and so that would be really demanding. And this project provided exactly that for me, which is great. But in the meantime, I blocked it. I wanted to see how it would look like width-wise and texture-wise once I opened up the cables and everything. And then I just didn't put it back on the needles and got distracted with other projects and test knits. So here's the canvas. This is made in Derorum Natura Gilead in Poivre Blanc. And I think when you look at this, it doesn't scream mega oversized cable jumper. So I think I did size 1 or size 2. I've seen other people's versions of it and it had way too much ease at the underarm compared to what I would prefer, which is why I probably sized down a lot when I was doing this. I might have changed the needle size and the gauge as well. Again, all of those details would be in the description of my Ravelry projects or back in the podcast when I talked about it in the first place. But yeah, I might just pick up for the neck just to get some steam back on this. And then it's quite a complicated, not intuitive cable pattern. There's a bunch of charts. There definitely were like charts for the sleeves and charts for the body. I think now that we're back with the body in the round, it's just the one cable chart, and then you've got like that pattern texture thing on the side, which is called like the canvas pattern. It's just some knits and pearls. But yeah, so it's the kind of project that, again, it'll take me a while to get back into, but it's nothing too complicated, and it's pretty easy to see if you're like on the right track, and having that zigzag in the middle, you can see if you've done the wrong thing, I guess. So I'm not too worried. It's just a bit annoying. But yeah, I am looking forward to having the finished project. I've been wanting this sweater in my wardrobe for the longest time. I've been loving all the cable jumpers, especially in winter. Obviously, like, maybe now is not the mood I'm in, but I talk a big game and then I end up not doing any of those big cable jumpers because I'm actually quite averse to doing all over textures. I find that incredibly tedious. But my favorite jumpers that I own are those that have texture, and especially my Alder sweater from the Creabea, which has all over texture, is really one of my favorites, and I love wearing it. It's really striking. So I think this is definitely going to be a favorite of mine when I do finish it. It probably won't get any attention this summer. I think I'd rather get some other things done, and this will be a nice one to get back into, probably comes autumn. But yeah, it's nice to see it, and I'm looking forward to doing it. Okay, the next thing I'm about to show you is my shameful basket of Sleevegeddon disaster. This is no less than 4 jumpers, 3 of which need 2 sleeves, and 1 of which needs 1 sleeve. So that's what? 7 sleeves to knit, which, as I'm saying this, really sounds awful, but it is what it is. Let's go in the order that they're in the basket. So this is the... I don't want to look it up, I want to know it. Pink Feather? It won't be. Oh, Pink Velvet. Pink Velvet by Andrea Maury. Again, probably started this last year, maybe in March or April. It's made with chink fiber, hand-dyed yarn. You've got the melted baby suri, which is a variegated, very thick, DK fluffy yarn made of alpaca. And then the main color is also chink fiber, and it is their yak base, and that's a fingering weight single ply, so it's really light and fluffy. Probably will pill a lot. I bought it as a kit that they had on their website, so they had paired up those colors. I was really attracted by this kind of like dark, moody, mysterious color. I think it's called Moth, and then the light one is called Cloud. Really happy with the yoke. Obviously, this is amazing color work. Andrea Maury is known for her kind of like folksy, Aztec tribal patterns, very American. And it's nice, I guess. It's really different than the kind of like Mary Wall and Fair Isle color work. So it's funny to use the same technique, which is like stranded color work, and to get such different results for the knitwear. But yeah, I thought that this would look really good. I've tried it on a few times and it does suit me really well. Circular yokes are always a hit and miss. I don't have that many. This is actually a circular yoke, and I do really like how it falls on my body and my chest. So I'm happy that this one also seems to work. There's a little bit of puckering here, like you can see. That's because the yoke has been blocked and the body hasn't. So I think that the fabric here is wanting to behave differently. I'm talking about this. Fabric is wanting to behave a bit differently, but that's fine. I think I cropped it maybe a little bit here. I might have been wanting to wear it over skirts or dresses, and I didn't want to have like to tuck it too much. So I just need 2 sleeves to finish this. I think what stopped me was the knowledge that I was probably going to have to do this magic loop style, because I have minis, not shorties, which are weird on my hands, but like minis where the cable is just small. From Xiaogu, the blue ones, if you know what I'm talking about. I think this is made with 275mm needles as well. So yeah, basically I just knew I'm gonna have to do this with magic loop, and I wasn't looking forward to doing that, but I just have to bite the bullet and do it, because it's such a shame to have left this in the basket for way too long. And I guess it is fingering weight, which is also why I think it adds to that mental workload of it'll take a while to do. I know Andrea Maury is also known for having tighter fitting sleeves than a lot of people prefer, so maybe that has also stopped me. Just the question of, do I do something preventatively regarding that, or do I just start and see where it goes? Maybe I'll just not do as many decreases, but I'll still start with the same sleeve count. Who knows? But yeah, definitely wanting to make that one, finish it, and see how it all fits once it's together, because it's just such a different look when you have sleeves and when you don't. Like, you can't really tell what it's gonna look like, the final impression. Next one you have seen recently is the Foxberry sweater by Sarah Nordland. I really will not go into too much detail, because that one I've talked about like the last 2 or 3 podcast episodes. This is made with Holskarn yarn, the super soft and the titikaka. It hasn't been blocked, like the yoke or the sweater. And yeah, no reason not to pick up and do those sleeves. If anything, I should do that first, because this is a project I've only started like a few months ago, and it has already taken too long for me to finish the yoke, because I was dreading the bubbles in it, but there's no reason for me to dread the sleeves. I think I will be able to be doing that with my mini Xiaogus, which is really my favorite method of doing sleeves. So yeah, that's a strong contender to finish quite soon. even though again it is quite warm and maybe not the thing that I want to work on at the moment. But I really like the color and I'm excited about this project. Not much different to say, but it's nice to have them shine on camera each. Okay, the next one is the Nimbus by Jessie Maid. This was a test knit I did back earlier this year in like January, February. This is the one that only has the one sleeve but doesn't have the other. This is completely my fault. I didn't finish the test knit in time, and so I just like lost motivation to then do the other sleeve. This actually should be the fastest. Obviously there's only one sleeve to do. The gauge is really loose. There's no decreases. I just did straight sleeves. I have the yarn here nearby. Again, it's just a little hard to go back to a pattern that you've not done in a while and like remember the cable pattern and everything and like what was the pickup ratio for the stitches. But yeah, as I'm seeing it here, it really is a lovely color. It's a lovely pattern. It's a little shapeless and structureless, and that's obviously because of the nature of the yarn. This is the Fiber Company Zero. And I guess I was going to maybe style this with like a white camisole underneath. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't as excited about it after a while. I just kind of signed up to the test knit without thinking too hard about whether this was something that I was going to wear a lot. But I think I just have to give it a chance, see what I have in the wardrobe that would go well with this, like maybe some tight trousers, some skirts. I think I will make it work once I have it. But yeah, this one, the difficulty that's standing in my way is knowing what I did exactly for the first sleeve and replicating that on the second sleeve. Okay, and then the last sweater of this sleeve saga is the Dear Duomo sweater by Sun Lee. This is also some Jing fiber yarn. There's a cashmere fingering base, and then it was a Fiber Spades Cumulus, which is like a mohair alternative that's just not as itchy. So here it is. It's a little crumpled, and here's what I was talking about with regards to slight variegation in yarn working out differently when you're knitting flat for the yoke and in the round for the body. It really was a bit demotivating. I was really looking forward to this jumper, but I was a bit sad to see the variegation in yarn. I had actually alternated skeins, but I think it still didn't work out how I wanted, because some of it is lighter, which you can see here in the shoulder quite a lot compared to the rest of the body. But it's not the kind of stuff that you would see once you're like actually out and about wearing it. Like I feel like you can notice those in photos a lot, but not when you're actually wearing it and moving and everything. So the other thing that had stopped me was the neck. I had followed the instructions, but something about it, I think it's too small. I wanted the neck to be deeper. So what I have to do is unpick that. It was a double folded neck that, yeah, it's a lot of effort, but I'm not happy with this neck, so I have to go and rip it out. It's just too small. So I want a bigger neckline, probably still make it double folded, and then I need to do the two sleeves. I think it was maybe decision paralysis where I wasn't sure whether to deal with the neck first or the sleeves. I just remember that I finished the neck here, I tried it on, basically hated what I was looking at because of the neck and the color variation, which just completely killed my motivation for this sweater, even though I was so excited for it because this color is to die for. It's insanely soft because of the cashmere and the fiber spades. I mean, this color is just like so beautiful, and it was expensive as well, so that's why I really wanted to like the final product. But yeah, I've been really meaning to get back to this, and I know the steps that I need to do to like this, and I'm looking forward to blocking it and getting all of those bad creases out, just because it's been in the basket for so long. So yeah, stay tuned for this, it'll definitely happen. Again, it is quite warm just holding it up like that, so maybe not something that I do right away. Definitely not the first one out of all the sleeve ones, but I'm not forgetting about it. I really want to wear it. I think it'll be something that's amazing to just have in winter. This was a bottom-up pattern as well from a new to me designer, and I was enjoying the different type of construction and doing something bottom-up, having the sleeve shoulder shaping happening in a different way. So yeah, sometimes it's nice to go out of the comfort zone and do designers that you don't know, and then you realize that you like the way that they write their patterns. And obviously other times the gamble doesn't pay off and you don't want to buy any more patterns from a designer. But I definitely liked the way that she writes her patterns and shapes her sweaters, so I want to try the other one that she has done. Is it the duomo one that people do a lot with like 3 different types of yarn, like 3 variegated? I think this pattern is very popular right now for using your variegated yarns. Oh, it is getting darker. But yeah, my only beef with the pattern is just the neck. I wasn't a fan of how that turned out. But yeah, let's move on to some projects that really didn't work out. I guess the way that I've structured this has pretty much been like all the ones that I'm still very much on par to finish. And now let's move on to the ones that I'm going to frog. So first up is this. This is the Rosalind top by Sarah Nordland. And you know me, I'm a big Sarah Nordland fan. This is the Rerum Natura Penelope, which is a mix of merino and silk. It's an amazing summer yarn. I highly recommend it. The top I made with this, I wear all the time. It's really soft, cool, breathable. I like working with it. It doesn't feel like super wash. It feels like a nice natural wool. So yeah, I love it. This is the color Orja, which again is a nice little like off-white. And here's the beginning of the top. So I know Young Folk Knits has made this and I really admire her for it, and I love the way it looks. The main pattern at the front is gorgeous. This is like a honeycomb brioche cable pattern, which looks absolutely stunning on camera. I just hate doing this. I really forced myself to even get this far, which is nothing compared to like an entire top. This is like the back panel. You have to do like the entire body the same way, and I just cannot. Like, I wish I could keep going, but I'm not enjoying it. Haven't in a long time. The brioche is gonna be the death of me. Like, it looks so good, but god do I hate it. It's just the relentlessness of it and the fact that there's no respite. Like every single row, well, I guess you have the purl rows, I think, but every other row is just always cabling. And I don't know if it's my tension or the yarn or something, but it's not even like easy, mindless cabling. Like I feel like I've got to work hard for it. So no, it's just not gonna happen. As sad as I am, I think because I'm keeping this little thing of fabric, it's making me sadder because I know like what could have been. But once I frog it and use this yarn for something else, I'll just be happier because I don't want to change my mind. Like my mind is made. I am not finishing this. I want to reclaim my needles, reclaim the yarn. Because it was going to be a vest, I have 4 balls of this. I think I'm planning to make a t-shirt with another yarn. I mean with another color of this yarn, and I had 6 balls of it. So I don't know if those 4 balls would be enough for like a really cropped t-shirt quantity for my body type, or whether I have to recycle this for another vest, just not this one. I'm not opposed to doing another Sarah Nordland pattern. I mean, this yarn is working really well in terms of like cabling. The texture is lovely. Lace, it's fine, nothing bad to say about it. Twisted stitches are strikingly beautiful. So yeah, this could be another cabled pattern in the future. I'm gonna say it again. It looks so good, but I can't. So maybe give me recommendations for what to do with 4 balls of DK merino silk yarn. Whether like a t-shirt, a cropped t-shirt would be nice. Or maybe just take the plunge, maybe buy a contrasting color and make something striped. Or a different dialogue of the same color and try and make it work. But yeah, this is gonna go. This is the first one of the video to actually like not be a success. Okay, here's a few more disasters in this basket. First off is a sock. This is the Rapunzel sock. It's from one of the 52 Weeks of Socks books. And yeah, we have a folded cuff with picot edge, a little lateral braid, some texture, and then a lace pattern. So all nice things. The lace is kind of hard to see what is going on, but it's definitely a repeated pattern. It's not just random holes. The cuff is really nice, and this is the back with a bit of like knit pearl texture. The yarn is co-op knits, yeah, socks, yeah, in ruby, and it was just too complicated, not mindless at all, not rewarding. I guess I just wasn't a fan of that lace motif that just looked a bit all over the place. I like the cuff, that's for sure, but overall it just kind of didn't seem like my jam. It's already hard enough to get the sock mojo back. I just know I have no interest in continuing this. I want to get the needles back. Those are actually one of my only pair of, what are they called? They're like the fancy C-knit needles in 2mm, because I have a loose gauge, so I have to always go quite small for socks. So I want to get the needles back. Abandon this. The color is really lovely. Like, this yarn always looks kind of hand-dyed because of like the slight variegation of it as well. But it's like quite affordable, and they come in like 2 little balls of 50 grams, so you don't even have to like it's easy to make the socks in tandem and know that you're not gonna run out. And yeah, sad to see it go, but no harm done. And then I can get, again, like, I have all those like stitch markers and things. Like, I'm gonna get so many needles and stitch markers back from this big clear out. Yeah, I don't know when's the next time I'm gonna do some socks. I don't think I have like interest in doing that at the moment, which is completely fine. I have a lot of sock yarn. A lot of it is like West Yorkshire spinner, like the bird colors, like Kingfisher, Peacock and everything, Red Robin. And I like wearing those in winter. That's the ones I wear the most, or like my like stockinette socks that have like stripes. So I think this is what I'm going to focus my efforts on next time I do a sock, is just like do what I enjoy wearing and like know with data that this is what I wear. Whereas the big lacy socks like that, I don't wear as much. But they're fun to do when the lace isn't as frustrating as this. So speaking of socks, this is the basic ribbed socks. You actually have seen this in my last like whip video, and these were supposed to be for Ross. Like, he picked the yarn at like a farmer's market so long ago, like 3 years ago, and I had started a sock. We have a heel. This was just a basic 3x1 ribbed sock, and like, honestly guys, like the motivation just has not come since. So I think that just means it has to go. If I haven't picked it up in years, like, how long can a project stay on needles? Like, when do you say it's enough? I'm saying it's enough. Get those needles back, get the yarn wound up again. I don't know when the yarn will make another appearance. Like, will it be socks? Will it be stripes into a summer top? Will it get destashed? Will it stay in the stash and not be used? Who knows? But it's just not working. Even if I end up recasting a pair of like ribbed socks in the future, that's fine by me if that's what ends up happening. But like this half finished sock, I just can't look at it anymore. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed of it. So I don't want to keep that with me in my skeleton closet. Now, quite a sad one to go, but another one I have to face reality. This is the Coming Soon sweater by Paula Strict. The yarn is the Rarum Natura Ulysse, which is just a thinner version of Gilead that I showed earlier. In the color like forêt, which is kind of like a khaki warm green, which again, I don't know if I like this color anymore. I used to think that this was my color. I used to wear that so much in high school. My mom used to like compliment me a lot when I would wear this. But nowadays, I just gravitate more towards like the bright blues and greens even, as opposed to like moody, deep tones. And the sweater itself is here. So the reason I loved this project was because it was a project that took advantage of reverse fisherman's rib. So the wrong side of fisherman's rib was being used as the right side here. The wrong side is the one that's kind of like chunky, gets those like really stocky stitches, as opposed to the right side, which is always like neater in terms of like what brioche looks like. It had a raglan that was really wide as well, like 11 stitches. It was gorgeous. The construction was really beautiful, really ready made, ready to wear fashion. It took me ages to even get this working. I was really struggling, I remember at the start. Like, it was a really hard pattern to get to grips with, and I was feeling very achieved and proud when I finally got it to work for me. But it was really tedious. You have to do a lot of work for like half the amount of finished rows, because it's like half fisherman's rib. You always have to like knit below and cancel out the work that you've just done. I just don't want to pick it back up. I would love to have the finished items, but I just don't think I'm ready to put the kind of work into it for it. And then especially if I'm not excited with the color anymore, it's just too much work. I'd rather do it in a different color that I prefer. I love half fisherman's rib. I would love to have a sweater made in that like wrong side of it. I guess this is a sport weight yarn as well, so it's working less fast than it would have if it was like DK or worsted. So yeah, it's a shame, and I wish I had like a replacement ready for like what other sweater I could make with this yarn, or an equivalent sweater but just like an easier pattern to do. But sadly I don't. So this is getting given up on with no replacement or alternative. So yeah, sadly we have to say goodbye to this not very far ahead piece of work. Again, I don't know what I'll do with the yarn. I don't know if I'll just do like a simple stockinette oversized jumper. That might be like a good mindless project to get this yarn to use, or destash it on Ravelry. On the same vibe, this is another project that you've seen before, but probably not in a long time. This is the Vilma color by Sari Nordland. And yeah, lots of things. So this is like a turtleneck type thing. This is the front of it, or the back. I can't remember if it's reversible or not. I think the shaping is slightly different for the front and the back. And then this is where I had gotten for the other side of it. So it's just a big cable pattern that gets repeated like once or twice. Like it's very long. And then like a moss stitch on either end. I never actually blocked this. I might just do that for funsies before I actually frog this, just to see what it would have been like. But I don't like the color anymore. Again, it's not really me. Don't like turtlenecks. Don't like colors that much. Lost motivation to do that cabled pattern. Know that I wouldn't wear it. Told myself a million times that this would be an easy win because it's one of the things that I could finish the fastest out of all the things I showed you today. Because it only has like a little panel to do. And even despite that, despite knowing that this would be an easy win, I never picked it back up. So I'm just trying to listen to what I truly want, which is to not have to do this. And it's a shame because, again, Sari Nordland is really good at having very intricate looking patterns and designs with the cables, and I'm sure this would make someone very happy, but it's just not me for all the reasons I just mentioned. So yeah, we'll probably destash this beautiful yarn. I think this was Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool in like a very autumnal color. And I hope it makes someone really happy to find this for like a nice price on Ravelry, because I'm sad to see it let it go, but I can't just hoard this and not put it to use. So yeah, it's a shame, but it's getting its last show on this episode, and then it's going. The other one in this little basket is something that you've also seen on my last like whip video, and it's the Augusta lace scarf. I may have even said at the time that I was gonna frog it. I never ended up frogging it. I think it's because I put the yarn up like on my destash, but nobody has wanted it. And I just thought, when someone gets it, like I'll frog this. So again, just showing this if anybody is interested in this yarn. It's up on my Ravelry destash. It's a lovely mix of like silk and yak yarn. I think it's 50-50. So it's insanely soft. It's only 25 grams, which is not a lot to work with. I had started a mini scarf, but I found it too tedious and annoying to work on, and I just wasn't motivated to pick it up. And then since then I've just like not really liked the color for myself anymore. So I don't like the pattern, I don't like the yarn, hence it doesn't get worked on. But if this is your cup of tea, if you like this color, you'll definitely like the kind of yarn blend that it is. I mean, the shine of it is just insane. That's from the silk. And then the depth of color is from the yak. Yeah, but I think I should just like, again, it just makes me feel guilty to like look at this half-finished project, so I need to actually frog it and wind the yarn back up and put that back with the like yarn waiting to be destashed box. Get all my stitch markers back. So yeah, I don't even know why I'm showing this in this video, because I'm pretty sure I had come to that conclusion before already. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be frogging this and hope that the yarn leaves my possession soon. Okay, we've got 2 more projects and then it's done. One of them is something that I will finish eventually, but it's not the right time yet. It's still not something I'm wanting to pick up at the moment, but it's something that I really do want to show to myself that I can finish. It's the Lily mosaic bag. I don't know when's the last time I showed this on the podcast. I know when I showed it on one of those, like, finish it or frog or whatever, it was less done. And since I had, like, worked on it, but I don't know if you have seen this far. It's upside down. So here's what it would normally be. And you can see that the motif is definitely working up. Again, it's the kind of project that will be an absolute pain to get back into and remember like where I was on the chart. But that's pretty much it. Like once I know where I am on the chart, it's just a matter of continuing the chart. There's no shaping. This is just like literally like work the circumference of it upwards. So it wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world. So I'm keeping that for a rainy day. I guess the Yale cardigan right now is like my hard project. And this definitely counts as like a bit of a behemoth of lots of techniques and shaping and sewing and lining later and making a strap and everything. So yeah, definitely keeping that for later. It's a shame that it's taking so long, but what can you do? Okay, and then the last one is cardigan number 8 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This is something that I don't know why it's taking so long for me to do this, and I think I'm going to give up because I don't like working on it. I don't even have that much done. Here it is. I've got like, it's a cardigan, so I've got like the yoke shaping and the beginning of a sleeve. So there it is. This is made with Isager tweed, the iron one, and BC Garn alpaca as like a lace weight thickening strands that's not mohair. And yeah, I'm just not excited about it, as you can see. I mean, I was really looking forward to making something in this tweed yarn, but it's just a little bit too itchy for me. It's really hard on my hands to work on this. I'm not enjoying all the back and forth of the cardigan. I'm not looking forward to having a whole body of that. There's a million decreases here on the sleeve, so I'll get all those stitches back, stitch markers. I'm never motivated to work on it. It's using one of my big cables at the moment, or stitch holders. Yeah, I'm not excited about it, as you can see. It's really trendy, like the tweed yarn, the My Favorite Things Knitwear, the cardigans. I don't know if I just did this project for me or just because like Instagram made me do it. And for something that's going to be big and oversized, I want it to be cozy. And I just don't think that this is really going to be cozy for me. I don't even know if it is going to be like as oversized as I would have wanted it to be. But yeah, I think I didn't know where I was going to go with that one, whether I was going to be a finish it or frog it, but I guess the solution came to me as I just pulled it up here, and it's going to be a frog. Destashed that Isager tweed yarn, which I'm sure it'll get a taker online. It's a popular yarn. And just make sure that whatever cardigan I choose next, I'm really excited about it, and it's in the color and yarn and softness that I like, and it's more my style. So yeah, oh sorry, I'm getting a little out of breath from inhaling like a lot of dust, I think, from some of these old projects, and my voice is going. I hope that this was entertaining for you and that you were happy to see some of those projects. I think that was really all of it. I mean, if Ravelry doesn't lie. Unless you can think of anything else that I've missed that you remember from the podcast. But yeah, I feel like a weight has been lifted. I'm going to be able to frog some of these, even though I'm really sad about some of them, especially that like Rosalind cable top. But I hope to find something else I can do in the same vibe that doesn't have honeycomb brioche, because I can't do this. And wish me luck for my big sleeve marathon that I have to do on those 4 sweaters. But it's exciting, like having taken a break from knitting for like a long time in the grand scheme of things. I actually have a lot of things in the pipeline that are like 50% or close to 50% being done. So I know that this year, if I really set my mindset to it, and I am, I don't plan on casting on a million new things. I really want to finish a lot of those things. A lot of them I'm still very excited about having the finished item. And it's like almost like a gift from past me to present me, where it's like, well, look at it, like you're already halfway done. You just have to finish the sleeves, and then you have the thing that you've been wanting. So it's not too hard, and I'll have a bunch of finished items to show off in the next few months, and then we can finally start planning about the new things that I'm going to cast on. But it's been quite reassuring as well for me to know that there's no overwhelming planning to be done and thinking and like yarn buying and pattern buying. Like it's almost like my future has been written out in front of me, like for me, to ease my mind and make life easier. And I'm grateful and happy about that. Like I have my pick of the litter. Like if I want to keep my hands busy at the moment, I just have to look in my cupboard and have my choice of like 10 different projects that have already been started. So I'm in a really good place of having a lot of whips, and that's a good thing for me. And I'm actually excited about finishing them. I'm not in that mood where you want to cast on all the new things, but you feel guilty because you have all those whips, which I know is a relatable thing that I definitely was going through like back then. But yeah, right now it's good to have those whips, and I'm excited that I'm going to be able to tick off all those past projects and click on the finished tab on Ravelry, change it from in progress to finished. That's always so satisfying. So let me know what you thought of this video. Tell me which projects you want me to finish first. And I'd love to hear what your experiences with whips at the moment. How many active ones do you have on the needles, and how many hibernating ones? I know some of you are crazy and you've got like 50 things hibernating, which is crazy. My overwhelmed mind could never. Like this is already too much open tabs on Ravelry to have all of those hibernating ones. So I'm happy to move the status of some of those from hibernating to frogged, just to make a bit of room. And yeah, so let me know what column you guys follow. And I know a lot of you also are in the complete opposite camp, and you just have like the one work in progress on the go type of person, which is also very admirable and not something that I could do. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video and that it wasn't too rambly or weird at the end. I feel like the more I went into those, the less I had to talk about those projects. Probably based on how much I loved or disliked them. But yeah, hope you're doing well wherever you are, and I'll catch you up soon for the next podcast. Hopefully we'll have my shawl finished, the pressed flower shawl, and maybe that little Millie Dis top as well once I finish the I-cords. And that's very exciting. See you all next time, guys, and have a good day. Bye!